Hello to everyone. My name is Martino Liu. I'm a Designlab mentor. I started since 2016. I started mentoring amazing people, amazing students. So it's been quite a journey. So this is the UX by Everyone talk, a journey toward product excellence. So let me introduce myself to you. So as I said, my name is Martino. I've been a Designlab mentor and since 2015. I am a designer by profession. I went to design school a few years ago. I would say around 20 years ago, and then I started doing design in the digital space, doing website design, and then later mobile design. And of course, it has been my role has been transitioning all the way to product design nowadays. And I currently work at Improving, which is a consultant company in the US. We have offices across Canada, Mexico, and the United States as well. And we serve the North American North American region with all the clients across many industries. So I joined this company back in 2015. It's been almost 9 years since I joined Improving. And yeah, all I've been doing these last few years is designing and mentoring students like you and students that are actively engaged in the UX Academy or in other courses that also Designlab has to offer. So in today's talk, we're going to be talking about this very specific topic about UX as a mindset. But before that, let me put some ground rules for this group to interact. So I will say, of course, you will be on mute unless I request everyone to jump in and open up probably microphones in order to exchange ideas. Basically, I will be having a space for us to have a question and answer section. So you are free to ask all the questions you want. You can type them in the chat and feel free to interrupt. Like whenever you feel like there's something that you want to go deeper or you want to ask me something, or maybe something is not properly understood, just say something. If you want to open up your video, your camera as well, that's totally fine. Actually, that will be awesome. And again, this is a safe space, so just be mindful of others' opinions and respectful, of course. And with that being said, we can start. So this is the big takeaway for you today. I think if after this talk, you get away with the idea that UX is more than a job and that is a mindset, I'm winning, you are winning, I think. But if we can have an exchange of ideas and if we can have a conversation at the end, that will be even greater, even better. That will be cool, super cool. So, but this is the objective, that you understand that UX is more than a job, that is a mindset. And let me tell you why I'm giving this talk today. So I reached out to Crystal, our mentors community manager at Designlab, and she requested to have some people talking, some mentors talking in these talks and workshops for Designlab. But I wanted to give this talk specifically today because this month of February at the company, we are reaching out to the community out there in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. We're talking about this journey, this UX by Everyone journey. And we're primarily talking to stakeholders, executive level stakeholders, people that are making decisions in the tech space, just to reach out and to help out in every way possible. We as a consultant firm. But today I'm going to tweak it a little bit because I know you are a student or you're probably interested in Designlab as a way of learning UX and learning the craft of a product designer. So I'm tweaking everything to fit this need, to understand that in order to achieve product excellence, there are at least in our view, there are four core, I would say, aspects of this journey, of this UX by everyone journey, in order to be successful in doing products and services. And you can see here the first stage, or I would say in this analogy of, going up the mountains, in this first camp, we will be talking about UX as a mindset. That is our talk today. Next, probably the next month, I'll be pitching the idea to Designlab in order to have an opportunity to talk about UX maturity. That will be camp number 2. And then later, camp number 3 will be about talking about UX teams and methodologies and how you can integrate successful UX teams in order to achieve a culture of product excellence and a culture of service excellence as well. And at the end of this journey, I will probably be talking about how leadership and how outcome-driven cultures or organizations, or at the end, teams, product teams or service teams, can achieve product excellence as well. So this is the journey. I'm presenting this layout for you today. So we're going to focus on the first camp. Camp number 1 is the UX mindset, is the foundation of this journey. All right, so sit tight and let's go to our first slide. Let's try to understand, first of all, what a mindset is. So I think everyone here understands in general terms that a mindset is about a mentality, right? Is also, we can say that it's a set of beliefs and a set of attitudes for us to interpret or to respond to situations. That is in general terms what a mindset is. So now, with this in mind, I want to talk about that mindset that we need in order to achieve great products and great services in the tech space or in the tech industry, which is most certainly where some of you, or maybe you are already in that industry, but some of you as students are going to be entering and you're going to be developing this mindset. And in other words, what you are doing in Designlab already is getting trained in all these aspects of user experience about product design. You are learning all the tools, the methods, the techniques, the process in order to create products with with a user experience in mind. So you're already learning the mindset. But I think it's key to understand that we need to separate the job from the attitudes or the beliefs or the mentality behind the UX mindset. So in the industry that we're talking about, the tech industry, we have 4 set of mindsets, or at least 4 mindsets, generally speaking. You have them right there. You have the business mindset, the engineer, the creative, and the design. So I'm going to talk about each one of them. So first, let's talk about the business mindset. In this mindset, business people are all about profit and, an exchange of value. A business exists because there is something to offer in exchange of value. And that thing that we're going to be offering as a business has value in itself. That's why people will pay you back. So that is an exchange of value. So that is the mindset of a business people. Business people will gather a team or gather an amount of people in order to put the company in a position to succeed, right? So whatever they do is all about making those people in that organization be successful, because if they are successful, the business will be successful, right? That's all about the business mindset. Now let's talk about the second mindset. which is the one of the, the one mindset about engineering. All right. Um, these people, these engineer-minded people, are all about building a better world by knowing how to construct and solve problems, right? They are in charge of making things feasible. They're talking about feasibility. If it is feasible with the technology we have, we can build something and we can improve the world with artifacts and things that we are going to be building as engineers. So that is the engineering mindset. Then there is the design mindset. This one is particularly relevant for us today because this is where we are. We are design students, we are design practitioners. So this mindset is pretty much the mindset that we already have, probably, or the mindset that we want to develop, besides the UX mindset that we are already developing. All right. So the design mindset is about, again, solving problems, same as the engineer, but with desirability and usability in mind. So instead of feasibility, and instead of taking into consideration only the technology side of things, in design, we're taking into consideration the human aspect of it. And it's more about desirable products, desirable services, and also how usable they are, right? Either products and services. So that is the third mindset we have in the industry. There is a fourth one, and this is going to be a little bit, I would say, confusing or challenging to understand, but bear with me. The fourth mindset is the creative mindset. Now, before I talk on the specifics of the creative mindset, let's remember that that a mindset as a set of beliefs and attitudes to form a mentality. Those mindsets, or any mindset, is interchangeable. Although difficult to change, we are used to see them change in time. Like yourself, you can have a mindset in the beginning of a, let's say you work for a company as a clerk, as a service clerk. So you have a mindset, the mindset of servicing people, the mindset of making sure clients have everything at their disposition in order to succeed, right? And then you evolve in the company, and then probably you become the manager of the service clerks. So now you have a different responsibility. So your mindset will be changing to that of a management mindset. So you will be dealing with people's problems, people's interactions. So that is a different mindset, right? So as you go along, you are evolving and you are using different mindsets and you're learning different mindsets. So taking this back into our example of a corporation or a team within the tech industry, these four mindsets are there. However, the creative mindset is one that is particular because most people believe that only creative people, or only designers, I would say, only designers and artists are creative. Engineers and business people are not creative. They don't develop those mindsets. And that is wrong. That is something we can start understanding, that a mindset is more close to the human capacity rather than a professional capacity. In other words, every mindset could be used by anyone at every moment, at any moment. It's just a matter of making it conscious, right? And understanding that mindsets are exchangeable. And particularly when you're playing a role in a company, you will be playing the mindset of that particular role as long as you are in the role. The moment you change the role, you're going to be changing the mindset. And that's how it goes. So creative mindset is also pertaining to things that are going to be distinguishable, and that whatever we do, how expressible it is. So the creative mindset is pertaining to those people that are in charge of making sure whatever we do in the company, it's unique, it's different from the competition, it's original in itself, it's brand new, or it's kind of a new way of solving a problem or a new way of looking at the problem. So the creative mindset is that one about innovation, all in all. So a designer, a business people, an engineer person could be creative every time they want, right? So again, this overlap of mindsets is because, as I'm explaining, we can exchange them anytime or any given at any given moment, depending on the context. But most of the time, we'll be playing one of those four. And there it comes. So what about the UX mindset? Where does it come from, right? So yes, the UX mindset comes from the design mindset itself. But specifically, the UX mindset is about including the human centeredness and the awareness of the human factors at play. So when I present this idea to engineers, for example, I ask them, do you believe it is important to include others in your decisions? And if you do that, you learn from them and you use what you learn. So most of the time when they say yes, I'm saying you are performing and you are actually behaving with the UX mindset in the background. You are already doing it, right? Because as we're going to see in a moment, one of the core principles of the UX mindset is empathy. And these questions are about empathy. It's about putting yourself in the shoes of other, understand their point of view, and considering those point of view in whatever you're doing. So if an engineer or a business people is saying yes to these questions, they are acting from a UX perspective, a UX mindset. We can find other terms to say that. We can say they're coming from a human factor perspective. They're coming from a human centeredness as well. But just for the practicality of this concept, let's just round it up as a UX mindset because this is the topic of today's talk. And in the context of UX design or product design, it's relevant to say the mindset pertains to the user experience outcome or the user experience expectation, right? So there we have it. So we have the four mindsets, and we have this other blanket that covers all the four, and it's all about the UX mindset, taking into account, again, human centeredness and human factors awareness. So that is how we can start to identify how the UX mindset plays in whatever product team we're going to be working on or we work at currently, or whatever organization we're going to be joining or we are part of today. So it's kind of it's a little bit of a game changer in the way we have to understand the UX as a mindset instead of only a job, right? I think it's more useful to understand it this way. So now probably you can ask, well, so all UX designers have to kind of a share responsibility with business engineers and creative people? I will say yes, but normally you don't have to, because at the end, what I could say better is that everyone else is responsible of the UX outcomes. Like not only the designer, not only the product designer, but also the engineer, the business executives, the marketing team, the support team, the customer experience team. Everyone has to be responsible of the UX, of the user experience of any product or service. Okay, so I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to change to the idea that a UX mindset has some principles. I already told you one, empathy. Well, let's go there. So in order to explore this, I put together this Venn diagram with the three most, I will say, known methodologies in design. And those are the ones you are actually doing in Designlab. Whenever you're taking a course, you're doing either one of these three. which is user-centered design, human-centered design, and design thinking. We put in practice these three methodologies all the time in different ways. I don't want to go too deep into each one of them because I assume you probably know them already. And if not, you can do research on Google about them. They're pretty well documented. But in general, they have principles. But the principles that they both share are three. And they are this: empathy, collaboration, and ideation. And those are the three principles that a UX mindset has primarily. With these three, we can start the UX by everyone journey. And when I say the UX by everyone journey, what I'm trying to say really is not only designers should be doing this, not only designers should acquire this UX mindset. It's also about people in other roles, people in other responsibilities, in other areas of the business. If we do UX collectively and we start doing this mindset a practice of all by doing empathy, collaboration, and iteration, we will be in a position to succeed as a company, as a team, right? So I can wrap it up with a definition. Probably it's too long, but it's simple to understand because it incorporates two things. First, the principles, and then what we already know what UX design is. So first with the principles. The UX mindset is a way of thinking primarily fueled by empathy, by embracing collaboration, that embodies the principle of iteration. Those are the three core principles, right? And then it comes UX design. By strategically integrating business, technology, and design to uncover what is genuinely meaningful and valuable for both users and organizations. So this is a definition I would like you to kind of analyze, chew on it, discuss, talk about, share with other people around you, especially designers or managers or people that are in the UX space. You know, other students in Discord, in Designlab, you can go there and throw this out and say, what do you think about this? Right? The UX mindset. Because in having this conversation, we can pretty much understand that beyond what we do as product designers, this UX mindset is going to be shared by everyone else in the company, in the team, or it should be, it should have. It's not only about us, it's about everyone. Because with the UX mindset and the other mindset, of course, the other four, remember, with all those mindsets playing correctly and interacting with each other, we're going to be building great products and great services. We're going to be striving for excellence with this. So now, I think the first thing you need to ask is, so how do I do this, right? How do I put into practice these principles, this mindset at work with my team, with my students, friends? Like, how do we start doing this? So let's put into practice some strategies. You can take away this. I'm going to be explaining the strategies for each core principle. First, the ones for empathy, then a few strategies to foster collaboration, and then lastly, strategies to foster iteration. So first, with empathy. Feel free to ask anything. Just post in the chat any questions you want to ask later. I will happily address them later. But for now, we're going to be going through this set of strategies, so you can simply take notes, and then we will be finishing. We're 3 slides away, right? So first of all, how do we foster empathy in our team, at school, or in the working environment? So I have 7 strategies for you to take today. First one is leading by example. I think this is, you can apply this one to everything else in life, but when you lead by example, you are demonstrating that empathy is what you value. And when you demonstrate empathy in your interactions with colleagues, with clients, with other students, or with stakeholders in the company that you work for, when you demonstrate empathy, you're going to start to see the empathy growing everywhere around you, because you will be actively listening. You will be showing understanding and compassion to others. You will be offering support when someone needs you or someone needs anything. You will be supporting them. So when you model empathetic behavior, you're setting a positive example for others to follow. So that's strategy number one. Lead by example. Demonstrate that empathy matters to you. Right? So another way to to foster empathy is by promoting open communication. By encouraging open and honest communication within your team or across organization, you are creating opportunities to dialogue uh, between individuals. You can make them feel comfortable when they're sharing their thoughts or feelings or perspectives. So by fostering this environment where you value everyone's voice and when everyone feels heard and respected, this open communication strategy helps grow the empathy culture that you need at both levels, at the team level and at the company level. Number three, practicing active listening. I don't want to go deep into this one, but it's a very um, well covered aspect of effective communication out there for leadership training. And, whenever you want to improve relationships at work, active listening is one key aspect of that improvement. So just take the time to truly listen to people, listen to your colleagues without any judgment. Do not interrupt when they're talking. Wait for your time to speak. Listen, understand what they're trying to tell. Sometimes we don't listen. Most of the time, we're just waiting our turn to talk, and that is not listening. So by practicing active listening, you will be also encouraging a culture of empathy, right? It touches back on empathy all the time. Number four, let's go a little bit quicker here. Because I want to give you more time for questions in case you have some. So number four is about showing appreciation and recognition. Every time someone does something good, recognize publicly, like cheer up people, like celebrate someone's success or celebrate someone's efforts. This is also key to to nurture a empathy culture, right? Sorry, a culture of empathy. Number five, offer support and assistance whenever you can. Be helpful, lend a hand, participate in efforts to improve initiatives or to do things around your team or your work environment or the company itself. So that is as the strategy number five. Number six, whenever the company or your team is going to be training, participate in that training. Always be open to be developed, to be trained, especially when there's training about emotional intelligence or what other aspect is key? Probably active listening. When there's training on empathy, participate in those things. So you can enhance your own skills in these areas, because it will not only benefit you personally, but it will also contribute to a more empathetic workplace. So number seven, there could be more strategies, but I think number seven, we can stop here with this empathy fostering. So providing feedback is another way to generate a culture of empathy. Anytime you can, offer constructive feedback to your company's leadership, to managers, to people that you trust and you feel comfortable talking to, right? Provide the feedback, but make sure that feedback is not just about what you wish things were or how do you think things should be. Constructive feedback is about signaling the aspect of something that is not working or that could work better and try to offer a solution, like provide ideas or even lend a hand, say something like, I would like to improve this if you allow me. That type of feedback for leadership is so welcome every time. Also, you can share your observations and ideas for initiatives or programs that could help foster empathy and strengthen relationships among employees. Um, so every time there is an opportunity to share feedback, do it. Do not remain quiet. That goes a long way. So that is about fostering empathy. Those are the 7 strategies you can do right now, today, or starting tomorrow to foster empathy in your work environment. No, the next one is about fostering collaboration. So besides leading by example and providing feedback and recognizing and encouraging open communication, we can have 4 more strategies to foster collaboration. Number 1, let's build relationships. I know some of you might be shy about it. Maybe you are an introvert like I was, but that's also a trait that you can train. For example, opening up to get to know people, it's something you can be trained at. As long as you put conscious effort towards getting to know people, to build relationships, it's something you can teach yourself. And there's also training at any corporate, any company about this, because building relationships is key for successful teams. If there are no good relationships in the team, most likely the results of that team will not be as desirable as they could be, right? So take the time to get to know your colleagues on a personal level, build strong relationships, always based on trust and mutual respect, right? This is going to lay the foundation for effective collaboration. All right. So that's strategy number 1. Number 2, it's about sharing knowledge and sharing expertise. It doesn't matter how much you know, or it doesn't matter if you don't know much, if you don't feel like you're an expert yet. It doesn't matter. What matters is the intention of sharing. The very few knowledge or the very low expertise you feel you have, share it. And this is a strategy that goes along with the imposter syndrome. I would say that is another mindset, by the way, that of the imposter syndrome, where you don't feel you have enough skills or enough expertise to show or to demonstrate to others. Don't go there. Like, forget about it. Like, just share whatever you know, because in sharing, you are letting people know that you're willing to share whatever you're trying to share. I mean, in this case, it's knowledge, but the attitude of sharing, it's creating this collaboration synergy as well. Because if the others see that you are sharing your knowledge, doesn't matter the amount of knowledge you have, that attitude, it's helping them open up as well. And therefore, the response potentially will be to also be sharing with you their knowledge and their expertise. So it becomes like a good, virtuous cycle, right? So let's go for strategy number 3. To foster collaboration, you can embrace diversity and inclusion, right? Always recognize and celebrate the diversity of perspectives and backgrounds that exist in your team, in your organization, and also embrace this diversity and inclusion by actively seeking input from other people, from colleagues with different experiences and viewpoints. Always be mindful and respectful. Always value the contributions of all team members, regardless of their position or their backgrounds, right? So this strategy is very important, and this will help foster collaboration as well. And number 4 will be to utilize collaborative tools and platforms. I bet you're already using these tools. After the pandemic, everyone has learned to use these collaboration tools. So using them will foster collaboration as well. Use them correctly and use them in a smart way. But nonetheless, use them, right? There are for a reason, and there are for you and for everyone to communicate and to collaborate. And there are better tools than the others, so try to kind of learn them and just fine-tune those tools in order to create a better collaborative culture in your team. So that is about fostering collaboration, which is the principle number 2 of the UX mindset. The number 3, and the last one we're going to be covering today, is how do we foster iteration, right? So for strategies as well, 1, embrace a growth mindset. There you go. There's another mindset here already, but this has to do more with a psychological mindset. There are 2 main psychology, or at least psychological mindsets that we know, or that I'm not a psychologist, but I've heard them before. One is a fixed mindset. The other one is a growth mindset. They contrapose each other. Like they balance each other out. For example, if you have a fixed mindset, you are a person that is okay with how you are today. I can bet that out of the, everyone here in this talk are in the growth mindset already. Why? Because you're willing to learn. You're willing to get to know new stuff. You're willing to improve yourself. That is all about the growth mindset, which is contrary, or which is the opposite of the fixed mindset, right? Which is, in other words, a little bit negative, because you don't want to learn. You don't want to improve. You just want to be, you accept reality as it is, and you are okay with it, and you're going to be performing, and you're going to be, addressing situations according to what you already know. And that's a fixed mindset. The growth mindset is the one, that of the people who wants to learn more, to understand things better, to improve themselves, to gain. Every time there's something to gain, you will be gaining, you will be improving, you will be adding value to your own education. You will be getting more resources in order to apply those resources later and improve everything around you. So that is how we foster iteration, by improving ourselves, by having this growth mindset. Number 2 is try to participate in feedback loops. At any company, or at least at any team, there should be feedback loops. And you have been doing some of them already. If you are a Designlab student, or or maybe if you're thinking to become one, at Designlab we have critique groups, and these are feedback loops. We are intentionally putting those feedback loops in place so students and mentors can iterate on students' work. Because with these feedback loops, we are entering the cycle of improvement, which is very well ingrained in the UX process. Every time you do something, every time you prototype, you need to improve it. And the best way to improve it is by getting feedback. Where? From peers, and most importantly, from users, right? These feedback loops are there, so just engage in them every time you can. Strategy number 3, demonstrate adaptability and flexibility. So just by being adaptable and flexible, when you respond to changing circumstances, and when you get feedback, for example, and you are able to adapt and be flexible about the circumstances that are changing, that's great. So every time you demonstrate this adaptability and flexibility, you are making sure that this iteration principle is at play, right? So let's embrace new information and insights that may necessitate adjustments um, to your approach to any plan. Maybe demonstrate resilience in the face of challenges and setbacks, and also be willing to iterate and pivot whenever is needed. So that is strategy number 3. And lastly, but not least important, is to advocate for iterative processes. Sorry, this is a difficult word for me. Iterative processes, right? Um, for example, in the industry where we are going to be working all together, which is the tech industry, when we are doing software development, or when we are doing, I would say, any big endeavor which requires complexity analysis and big goals and stuff, there is a set of methodologies that the software industry has embraced in the last few decades. Every time since the 80s and 90s, we started to see these agile methodologies. Maybe you are familiar with them, maybe you're not. But agile methodologies are all about this principle of iteration. So maybe you have heard the term Scrum, which is an agile methodology. It's probably the most frequently used methodology of all, right? There are many others, but the most important one is this one, Scrum. So when you do Scrum and when you develop software following the Scrum methodology or the Scrum framework, which is agile, you are entering this iterative process. At the core of Scrum or any other agile methodology, there is this iteration element, right? You need to iterate in order to fail fast, fail soon, fail cheap. By learning quicker, you gain value quicker, right? So again, let's talk about this strategy. So every time you champion the use of iterative processes and methodologies within your team and across the organization, you are enabling the culture of iteration, which is a principle of UX design. Sorry, UX mindset. My bad. Okay, so this is it for fostering iteration and for fostering the principles of the UX mindset. So I want to ask you if the takeaway is there. If we understand that UX is more than a job, that is a mindset, I think I have accomplished my goal. And now I'm going to jump into some questions. But before that, next talk I'm going to be giving is about UX maturity in this UX by Everyone journey. And just to give you a glimpse, the UX maturity is about growing the UX practice in the organization. And the higher you are in this scale, the better you are off to become a product team achieving excellence and achieving great results following this UX mindset. So the UX maturity topic will be discussed at a later talk. So that is kind of a preview. And with that, I open up for questions in case you have any questions. If not, we can close it up right here. So I'm going to give everyone a moment to type any questions you may have. Right now, I don't see questions. But also, if you want to speak up, do so. Just open your mic and let's hear it. Is there anyone there?
I have a question.
Sure, Victoria.
This all sounds, like me, and it sounds great, and it sounds like, when you get into the field that everything's, going to be cohesive. But have you come across coworkers and team members that you have butt heads with, type of thing? And how do you overcome that? How do you get over that difficulty?
So when you say difficulty is, I think I heard something like resistance to change?
Correct. Like this idea, this mindset sounds great if everybody else is in the same mindset, but that's probably not the case, correct? Are there, how do you
Right.
G-
Yeah.
I don't know if you know what I'm saying.
How do you execute on this change of mindset, right? And I think, I mean, it's a beautiful question in the sense that you're touching on the most difficult aspect of a mindset change, which is it easy or is it difficult to do? It's very difficult. Now, here's the thing. I'm presenting this topic for us because I think in this space, in Designlab, we understand design, we are doing design, or at least we're interested in the topic of design. So we are open to this change already. We are actually doing it, whether consciously or not. We are already there. Now, the challenge is, how do you make sure the others understand this new way of thinking or new way of looking at things? And it's happening. There's no like an orchestrated movement that is doing this thing, but you can see in history, and you can do a quick Google search just by typing um, things like UX design or product design, even UI UX design. The positions of designers have been changing in time because this mindset has been evolving and it's been there. There are companies that are already talking about purely product design instead of UX design, because now they understand that actually product design is the real thing designers are doing, and UX is more like is in the same level of customer experience. Right? So customer experience is a big topic. Like when you go to a big company, they do actually have customer experience people, CX. Now, UX, it's like, I will say, the sister of UX, sorry, of CX. Now, the thing is, CX is pertaining to the company's interaction with the clients, and UX is about those same clients as users of the product or service itself. But they are in the same level. So how do you execute on this? I think by having these, like I said, those strategies, by creating empathy, collaboration, and iteration, with those strategies that I share with you, you'll be able to start having these discussions, sharing with other colleagues around you. You don't have to go to the leadership team and talk about them. Actually, we are doing that job already. Like as a company, we're doing that talk to those people already, those high-level executives. Some of them already realize that, and they're doing actions to do that. They're already putting in action a lot of this stuff. Some others don't, the majority of them. The UX maturity topic that I'll be discussing next has to do with how do you grow from the low level of the maturity scale all the way to the top. What are exactly the things you need to do and the things that the company or the team needs to do in order to make this UX mindset happen, right? So yeah, it's difficult because it's not something that you inject in people and they will become like that. No, it'll come in time. And there are examples. There are good organizations. For example, you can say things like Apple, I think, is our best example of how a UX minded company has succeeded in time, right? Even the very own Don Norman, the person who coined the term user experience in his book Design for Everyday Things, he himself was an Apple employee back in the 80s, right? And he ran the office of the user experience architect office. So there is a lot of documentation, good examples of good companies that are embracing the UX as a mindset, and doing very good. And they have strategies in place, examples that you can share, and everyone can learn from them. So that's
Great. Thanks.
my
I look forward to the next talk.
Yeah, I'm preparing that one, and I'll let Designlab organization, in this case is Crystal, our mentor community manager. So she will be letting you know whenever that content is ready. Good. I have Ryan asking, I have two-part question. What are some good ways to develop or improve a growth mindset, either professionally or personally? And what about building motivation and focus? That's great. Yeah. So, at a personal level, I will say I'm not equipped to say how do you grow or how do you improve your growth mindset, because I think that will be the job of a psychologist, right? Uh, those professionals are the go-to people to talk about mindset development at a personal level, right? So, Ryan, number one, I'm not able to tell you how. I have intuition of how to do it, but just be open to learn. Like right now, you're open to learn. You're here, so you're already improving your mindset, your growth mindset. Just read about it. Be mindful about the what it takes to be on this side of things in the growth mindset, and then do whatever actions they recommend, especially those psychologists, right? And now the other about building motivation and focus. Well, I think as it touches the personal level. So yeah, I mean, there's no designer, or at least there's no product team professional or product professional that is that if it is not self-motivated, will not accomplish big stuff. You know, so it all starts with you becoming self-motivated and focused. Now, focus is better trained when you know exactly what do you want to do. When you answer the questions like, what are you good at? Where do you want to go? What is your goal? When you set your goals clearly and actionable, focus is very easy, or at least easier to execute. I will say that. And I'll tell my mentees all the time, whenever we struggle with time management, is because probably we don't have a clear goal in that particular project, or in that particular day. We don't know exactly what else we need besides reading the lesson, and besides doing the deliverable. We don't know exactly how to get there, or we don't know exactly what do we need to do to accomplish that. Like the goal is a little bit um, blurry, right? So the more clarity you gain on the goal, the easier is to focus. That will be my recommendation. Although I'm not an expert in personal performance, there are coaches that are well trained in this type of things, this type of treats. So I will go with them. I hope that answers your question. I don't see anybody else. Anyone else who wants to jump in and ask a question? Maybe that's a no. So we can wrap it up here. It's 3 minutes to 5 p.m. Central Time. So it's just in time to wrap it up. So I invite you to connect with me on LinkedIn. You can scan that QR code. You can connect with me over there. I'm also in Discord as a mentor. You can find me over there in case you want to talk anything related to this topic or anything else related to design and UX design. And lastly, I need to give you this information. So I want to thank Designlab for hosting today. So for those who aren't familiar, Designlab is an online educational organization focused on helping new and established designers build their careers in digital design. So if you're interested in taking your design career to the next level, do reach out to the admissions team. And with that being said, this is it. I finished this talk. I thank you, and I'll see you later if time allows. Thank you very much.